Best rice farming practices strategy number 7, harvesting, threshing, and post-harvest handling. This is preventing the 10 to 25% losses that destroy your profit. All your efforts implementing SRI practices, building soil health, and managing your crop carefully means nothing if you lose 10 to 25% of your harvest through poor timing, improper handling, inadequate drying, or pest damage during storage. Yet these post-harvest losses affect most rice farmers worldwide, representing massive economic waste. Research across smallholder rice system document typical post-harvest losses of between 10 to 25% from field losses, which are shattering, bird damage, threshing losses, insufficient or damaging threshing, handling quality degradation, and storage losses to insects, rodents, and molds. Therefore, implementing proper harvest and post-harvest management, preventing even half these losses, capturing an additional 5 to 12% of your production, provides economic benefits equivalent to increasing yields between 5 to 12% with zero additional production costs, making post-harvest improvements one of the highest return investment possible. The fact that post-harvest improvements typically require minimal capital investment, mostly better management and simple equipment compared to production improvements, yet provide comparable or better returns, makes them the obvious priority for you. The specific sources of post-harvest losses and how to prevent each are well understood. Feed losses occur from delayed harvest, allowing shattering or grains falling from the panicles. Birds and rodent feeding, logging, you see plants falling over, and adverse weather harvesting at proper maturity minimizes these losses. Threshing losses result from incomplete threshing, leaving grains attached to panicles. Excessive force breaking or damaging grains, reducing quality and market value. Contamination with soil or debris and spillage during handling, proper threshing, which means proper threshing techniques and equipment minimizes these losses. During drying, losses occur from incomplete drying, leaving moisture about 14% and above, allowing molds and insect damage and deterioration during storage. Or even drying, some grains adequately dried while others remain wet. Proper drying and moisture testing eliminates these losses. Storage losses from insects, rodents, and molds can be devastating, consuming up to 10 to 20% of your stored grains within 3 to 6 months if preventive measures aren't implemented. Proper storage facilities and management prevent these losses. Let's look at implementing optimal harvest timing and technique. Timing harvest correctly balances maximizing grain maturity and minimizing field losses. Rice reaches psychological maturity when grains have accumulated maximum dry matter and turned from green to golden yellow, typically occurring when 80 to 85% of the grains have matured or changed color, and moisture content is approximately 20 to 25%. At this stage, panicles drop from the weight of field grains, and threshed grains are hard when beaten. Harvesting at this optimal window maximizes grain weight and quality while minimizing field losses from shattering or diverse weather. Harvesting too early, when more than 20% of the grains are still green, reduces yields because immature grains have lower weight and higher moisture, while harvesting too late, when more than 10 days after optimal maturity, increases field losses from shattering, buds, and lodging. Monitor your fields daily as they approach maturity, examining grain color and firmness. Then harvest within 3 to 5 days once 80 to 85% maturity threshold is reached. Harvest carefully to minimize losses. For hand harvesting, still practiced by many smallholders, cut rice 10 to 15 centimeters above the ground level, using sharp sickles, handle bundles gently, avoiding excessive shaking that causes shattering, and transport immediately to threshing area rather than living in fields where birds and rodents cause losses. Thresh properly after harvest within 1 to 2 days, ideally, to minimize field exposure. Threshing methods range from traditional beating of bundles against hard surfaces, to using animals to trample bundles, to mechanical threshers, that is pedal powered or engine powered. Regardless of method, proper technique involves ensuring all grains are removed from panicles, checking that threshed panicles are empty, avoiding excessive force that breaks grain, and then working on clean surfaces like tarpaulins or concrete, preventing soil contamination, and immediately winnowing or cleaning to remove straw, husks, and debris. Mechanical threshers dramatically reduce labor. A small mechanical thresher processes between 150 to 300 kilograms of paddy per hour, requiring just 2 to 3 workers compared to between 8 to 12 workers for manual threshing, achieving between 100 to 150 kilograms per hour, while improving grain quality through gentler handling and better cleaning. Let's look at implementing proper drying and storage. Moisture management is the single most critical factor determining storage success. Rice stored about 40% moisture develops molds, mycotoxin contamination, insect infestation, and rapid quality degradation. Dry harvested paddy rice from typical between 20 to 25% moisture at the harvest to between 13 to 14% before storage through sun drying or mechanical drying. Sun drying works well in regions with adequate sunshine. Spread paddy rice in thin layers, that is between 3 to 5 centimeters depth, on clean surfaces like on taps, on concrete or raised platform. Rake or turn regularly, ensuring uniform drying. Protect from rain and overnight dew, and continue until moisture reaches 13 to 14%. Sun drying from 22 to 14% moisture typically requires 2 to 4 days of good sunshine depending on weather condition, layer thickness, and temperature. Test moisture using grain moisture meter, which is ideal if available. All traditional methods, rice at 13 to 14% moisture should be hard with no flexibility when beaten. Should sound hollow when a handful is dropped, and should not clamp when squeezed together. Never store inadequately dried rice. Moisture above 15% virtually guarantees storage problems within weeks. Therefore, store properly dried rice in pest-proof, moisture-proof facilities. Improved storage options include hermetic bags or containers, preventing insect respiration and reproduction, which is highly effective even without additional pest control and measures. Use of metal or plastic silos, well constructed, guarantees granaries with tight walls, preventing rodent entry and adequate ventilation, preventing moisture accumulation. Or traditional storage structure properly maintained and protected. Key principles: store only properly dried grains between 13 to 14% moisture. Elevate storage off ground, preventing moisture wicking from soil. Ensure waterproof roofing, preventing rain entry. Seal all openings larger than 0.5 centimeters, preventing rodent entry. Provide ventilation in non-hermetic storage, preventing condensation. And inspect stored grains monthly, checking for moisture changes, heating, which is indicating insect availability or activity, or pest presence. If problems are detected immediately, do immediate action through redrying, fumigating with appropriate pesticides, following label instructions, or other interventions prevents losses from becoming severe. Farmers implementing proper drying and storage report reducing post-harvest losses from typically 15 to 25% to under 5%, effectively increasing their marketable production between 10 to 20% without any additional field production. This represents pure profit since all production costs were already incurred. Best rice farming practices summary. This is your blueprint for rice farming prosperity. Please go ahead and watch this summary. It is a game changer for your rice farming. Excellence.